I feel that in comedy, every joke you make, it's funny because there's some truth in it. You know, that's why we make stereotype jokes.
Right.
It's funny because the stereotype comes from somewhere.
Right. Some form of truth. Right.
Yes, and that's why it's a stereotype. And that's why we laugh. And yes, and that's why I love comedy, is because we're able to talk about these topics through comedy, and it makes people think. Right. So then what do you joke about anymore? Because every joke technically is sensitive. And if you want to like be woke about everything and about sensitive about everything, there's nothing to laugh about. And life will just be about everyone trying to not step on each other's toes. Right?
Yes, it's like you're walking around eggshells all the time, right? Hello House Kakis, I'm Durga and welcome back to Open House, where every conversation opens a new perspective. You've probably seen our next guest online. He's the guy with a big afro and even bigger humor. His content is funny, intelligent and super relatable. Today we are chatting with Benjamin Bryne, content creator, filmmaker, actor, host and entrepreneur. Benjamin, welcome to Open House.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Very happy to be here.
Tell us something interesting about yourself that we don't already know. I mean, you show so much of yourself on social media, right? But what is something that, aside to the afro, what's something that we don't know about Benjamin?
Okay, one big thing I realized, people think that I'm super extroverted all the time. So I am extroverted, but I would say I'm more ambivert. Right? Like I'm introverted, extroverted. Like I have my moments where I want to be just chill, quiet, and just relax. But then when it's time for me to like be on camera or go to a party or go to an event, and I get, okay, let's go. Most people only see my videos. And in my videos, of course, I'm more because it's for the comedic effect or for its acting reasons, like expressive reasons. But when they meet me, they expect me to be this like, hello, hi, I'm Ben. Well, good to see you. But I'm just like, hey, what's up? I'm Ben.
And then they're like, huh?
Yeah, so then the clients were just talking among themselves. Hey, I thought he'll be a bit more, but he's just like
very zen.
Like, yeah. And when I first found out that people were saying that, I was like, interesting. Like, and I realized, because I'm in front of the camera and I've done videos for 7 years, right? So I don't think about me as what people
how they
think.
perceive you.
It's just me, because I always just when I'm editing, it's just me, right? It's just literally looking into a mirror. But then I started to realize, wow, people actually they see me as something else, right? Based on my online, I wouldn't say online persona because it's still me. I am not really acting as someone else, right? It's just that you don't necessarily see that part of me all the time. And I actually was born a very shy boy. I was very shy.
Really?
Yes. My parents had to put me in situations where I was forced to come out of my shell. Yeah. And who knows, if they didn't do that, I wouldn't be here doing this, right? Yeah.
Right. So what led to the Smiling Afro?
When I have short hair, it doesn't curl, right? So up all the way to secondary school, I didn't know my hair could curl because it's just very short. Like the guys who know this in the back in the 90s, the Armani hairstyle, you know?
Yes.
So, but there's no signs of it curling, right? It's just, So when I went to poly, I told my mom, hey, it's my 3 years in poly, I can do, styles are different now. We can do whatever you want. I'm just going to grow my hair up because I have to go NS and I have to cut it anyways, right? So she said, yeah, sure. This is your one phase in your life, just have fun.
Do what you want.
Yeah, so as the months and the days and the weeks go by, I was like, why's my hair curling? It was like curling more and more. And then everyone around me, because I went to school every week, right? Everyone just kept, there's something happening here. So it's a very slow process, but it was like noticeable week in, week out. And then eventually it just went bigger and bigger and bigger. But it was positive reactions.
Right.
Like more and more people were just looking at me and like, it's quite cool.
Yeah.
Chinese looking face with
afro.
Yeah. And so I liked it because I was already the goofy guy, right? And this added to the smiles. People were like looking at it like,
hey, that's cool.
Yeah. And then when they see me as the goofy guy with the style, it's like kind of it's like goes hand in hand, right? And then people are like saying, hey, somehow why are clowns mainly with afros?
Oh, that's a good question.
Thing, right?
Yeah,
clowns
interesting.
Generally don't have long straight hair.
No.
Or not portrayed that way. Very rarely, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I realized people also see it as afro or curly hair with like funny things.
Right.
So I decided just to run with it. And Smiling Afro just became a nickname because I was trying to find a new nickname for myself and say, the afro changed my life and I like to make people smile, right?
Right.
So it's Smiling Afro. So it just became a nickname first. But so I studied filmmaking. So my background is in filmmaking and I wanted to go into advertising. So after I graduated from uni, I was like, okay, I need a place for my creative juices or creative outlet to flow. So I decided, I was looking for jobs. I'm going to finally launch properly my channel in YouTube and launched a Facebook page and changed my Instagram name to Smiling Afro. I just wanted to brand myself as this guy who likes to make funny videos for fun.
Yep.
So I graduated 2018 from my master's degree. I was like, okay, I launched it and told everyone, hey guys, this is my channel where all my ideas are here. Enjoy. It's just for fun, free entertainment. But then I started getting clients. Yes, clients start coming to me and saying, hey, we saw that you have a channel and we love your personality. Are you available for business? And of course, I was like, whoa, I didn't think I'll be earning money from this, right? But I have to pretend I know what I'm doing, right? So I'm like, yeah, sure, we can talk. Let's talk business, let's talk, And most of them were saying music to my ears, right? They were like, hey, we'd like to pay you to be yourself and make funny videos. And I host or whatever. I was like, oh. So I started doing it for a few months and I was like, hey, this is gaining traction. But a lot of people still don't know what am I. Like, am I working for the client full time or am I
like
my own man? Yeah,
like an influencer or content
and
creator.
at the time 2018, the word influencer wasn't clear yet. Yeah, even content creator wasn't clear. So I realized that a lot of people came up to me and they were like, hey, congrats on your new job. I was like, okay, technically I'm not working for anyone, but oh, really? Oh, because people were asking me about you and wanted to contact you, but I told them you're working full-time for someone else. I was like, no.
The brand that you collaborated.
I was afraid that a lot of potential business opportunities would be lost, right?
Right.
So I decided to start my own company. Launched it in August 2018 and I launched again and told everyone, hey guys, I'm my own guy. I'm available to work with anyone.
To collaborate.
Hit me up. Yes. Yeah, so that was how Smiling Afro business
started.
Came about.
Right.
Yes.
You are Asian and you have an afro. Have you ever worried about like cultural appropriation where people feel that, okay, you don't look like someone who would have an afro? So do you ever worry about that? Or have you actually had comments about that?
Yeah, so I've never worried about it because it's my natural hair anyways.
Yeah.
But also my belief is, people change things, they modify things on their body all the time, right? That may look similar to another race or whatever, but it's just sharing. Cultural, actually sharing, right?
Right.
Like people that have blonde, but you don't really hear the born blonde, maybe the Scandinavian saying, hey, what are you?
How come?
Right? And people perm their hair all the time,
Yep.
right? And you don't see natural curly people like, why are you doing this, right? Or curly hair people straighten their hair all the time, right? So I never felt that way, but I knew I was going to come one day. Like the more I was doing this and the more views I get, one day there's going to be someone. But usually the people who say it, the accounts one is a fake picture or it's not a picture of their face. So I already know they are just trolls.
Right.
Or they really maybe strongly feel that way. But they hide behind accounts so that they can just say it out. But in real life,
like keyboard warriors.
Yes. I've had like, oh my gosh, cultural appropriation. How could you don an African hairstyle when you're not African, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I just, but also people actually think that I have maybe African blood or whatever, right? But
because
it's not,
of the Afro.
Yeah, but it's not. It's Indonesian blood. My great-grandmother was Dutch Indo and she had curly hair. And it's from the Indo side.
Right.
And I think a lot of people forget that actually the original Southeast Asian people,
we have curly hair.
Yeah. A fair share of Indians have curly hair, right?
Yep.
Like Afro-Indians. I've seen so many. And in like Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, actually there's fair share of people, even Thailand, right? There's fair share of people who they do have curly hair and they can grow afros.
Right.
So I believe my great-grandmother had like that kind of blood. And that gene somehow still until me, which is quite
right.
Quite
DNA,
a phenomenon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because my siblings don't have.
Also, your siblings have straight hair.
Yeah, wavy hair. I'm the only one that has this curly hair, which is like, so, when I found it out, I was like, you know what, it's me, it's my natural hair, right? It's who I am, and I'm just gonna like...
Embrace it.
Yeah, embrace it, yeah.
And do you think that, for like with your content creation, and doing what you do you think that the hair adds to your personality?
Definitely.
Like, what do you think it conveys to someone who's probably never watched your content? Like, the first time you meet them, for example.
I think honestly, 80% of the people who watch my content the first time honestly think I'm donning a wig. Because of how I look, right?
Okay,
so they just assume...
We were all trying to figure out, like, is that a wig until we asked him?
So like... so already they think that I'm playing this persona. So when they see Smiling Afro, oh, is this guy playing this character? Yeah, but in the end of the day, I just want people to just enjoy the content, right? Like what I'm trying to say, I'll make you laugh about, which is usually relatable, right? Something relatable in real life, and then I just bring it up in comedy.
Using the hair, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you're doing content, right, you do use satire or humor, to say things that I think most of us would not dare to sort of say, right? And speak about, right?
Yes.
And, you use humor or satire to do that. Do you ever worry about crossing the line, sort of between being thought-provoking and provoking backlash?
Yeah, I mean, I always test the line, right? But I also have a personal line I draw for myself. Like you said, I want to be thought-provoking, but not insulting plainly. Yeah, so every content I write, I always like, okay, is this anyway? Yeah.
And like, what was the most like controversial type that you did?
Oh, I guess because I do religious jokes too. I'm Catholic, so I joke about my faith sometimes. But I would say Catholics have the best sense of humor sometimes because we get the most criticism, right? But there's always some hardcore Christians who, of course, don't like, and they will come after me.
Right.
But I'm like, whatever, because it's comedy,
Right.
And I'm a believer, and I'm just doing satire, and I'm not insulting or actually condemning the faith. Yeah, so like.
Right. Just speaking of comedy, like, Ricky Gervais, like he was sharing that everyone's a bit sensitive these days.
Yeah, very.
And he's like, because people were saying to him that, or rather just in general that, you use comedy to get away with insulting people or saying certain things. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think comedians are not all. I think some of them just insult people just for laughs, but there's no learning point. I feel that in comedy, every joke you make, it's funny because there's some truth in it. That's why we make stereotype jokes. Right? It's funny because the stereotype comes from somewhere.
Right. Some form of truth. Right.
Yes, and that's why it's a stereotype. And that's why we laugh because, you're right, makes sense, right? And yes, and that's why I love comedy, is because we're able to talk about these topics through comedy, and it makes people think. Right. So then what do you joke about anymore? Because every joke technically is sensitive. Right. Every time you make a joke, you laugh because there's some kind of tragedy. That's like the famous people say, right? Comedy is tragedy plus timing.
Right.
So most of it is something tragic
that happened.
Yes, and that's why we laugh. And if you want to like be woke about everything and about sensitive about everything, there's nothing to laugh about, and life will just be about everyone trying to not step on each other's toes. Right?
Yes, it's like you're walking around eggshells all the time, right? Now, humor or sarcasm is often seen as like, like a shield. Right? Like you were saying that, sometimes there's tragedy in it.
Yeah.
Like, do you use humor as a shield sometimes?
Not that I remember, because I've had these questions all the time, right? Like, oh, Ben, you're very funny because you're hiding something, right? You're hiding some traumatic experience. And then I always answer something sarcastic at them. It's like, yeah, it's you lah. You are my trauma lah. Like, yeah. But no, it's like, I think I grew up and I was a very observant and still a very observant person. And I think I just observe a lot of people who were like quietly suffering or quietly upset, especially as a young kid, right? When we go to school, you can see clearly some people who maybe don't have the best household or like best time at home, right? And then I've just always felt like I just wanted to try to make their day. It came from this whole thing of me, I want to use humor to just make people's day. As opposed to, I was
traumatized
as a child, in a basement somewhere in Ang Mo Kio, and then I'm now defense mechanism.
Right. But there's a certain vulnerability as well, right? And how does that look to you? Like, what does vulnerability look to you as a content creator?
One very weird question 7 years ago when I started doing all these videos, right? So I'm making a fool of myself to make people laugh. And then this friend of mine turned to me and she just looked at me and she said, why do you do this to yourself? Look at the video, you're like doing funny faces, you're wearing women's clothes, you're like jumping over a place. Like, why do you do this? Why can't you just be
normal,
proper and presentative? Yeah. And I was like, I mean, that defeats the purpose. I said I can be, but that's for certain reasons and occasions, right? But I saw a look in her eyes. She just grew up in that kind of
environment.
Yeah, where it's just you have to be presentable. You cannot lose face, right? So I think because I'm able to just get out of that, it's my vulnerability lah. I'm vulnerable to be like criticized, right? I say yes. Every time I just do something that is not
what people expect, right? Like
prim and proper, like no lose face. Yeah. So even an example, a host being on stage, you're vulnerable to be criticized,
right?
And that's to me every time I go on camera, every time I post is that vulnerability,
right? Now, you see, you were talking about influencers earlier, but when you started in 2018, it was a very different world, right? But now in 2025, you have different generations. You have like so many voices for the younger generation to hear. now, right? Like
Yep,
the moment they
true,
flip
fair.
open the
many,
phone,
yeah.
so many, right? So many influencers, content creators and all that. So how can they decide who they should listen to?
Well, to be honest, I feel that even no matter what I say to the young people, they're
They
still
were
going
still
to
gonna defy.
But if I have to say anything, it's like, find someone that really, if you really connect with through their content, and ideally inspire you. Like how I was inspired by Mr. Bean or all the Saturday Night Live shows and the talk shows. Be it comedy, be it like lifestyle, be
Beauty,
it
whatever.
education, beauty, whatever. But be inspired. So honestly, when I started, I didn't think I would inspire people. I just felt like I would make people laugh and that's it. But the other day I was at an event and the mom came with her two sons and said, hey, they're big fans, can you take a picture with you? And they took a picture and then she said to me, thank you for inspiring my son. Like he really looks up to you, saying that you're so daring.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, okay, wow. And I said to him, don't forget to laugh and smile when you can in life. All right. And that hit me a bit like, wow, okay, that I can inspire people and in one way or another.
So like as you were creating content, right, over the years, like it's been 7 years, did you ever realize that you actually had the power to...
I guess in between, yeah.
In between.
I mean, I think it was only 2021 or 2020 when I first started getting recognized on the streets and people actually coming up to me and say, hey, I love your stuff.
Right.
And you don't know the amount of people, especially men, who have come up to me and say, hey, thank you for the entertainment. Every morning when I take my morning shit before I go to work, you entertain me.
Because they sit in the toilet.
Yeah. But I'm like, wow, the amount of people where my content appears when I'm doing the morning business. And for them to come to me and say, thank you for giving me the morning laugh. They'll tell me, oh, I'm stressed to go work, but you make me laugh and it helps, And it's just, wow, when I'm here, I'm like,
right.
That's exactly why I do it.
Yeah. It's to put a smile on someone's face.
Yeah.
Like, kind of like, Mr. Bean, right? And what do you feel that is funny about us? Are we funny people, you think?
I think we are very funny people. But because
generally?
Generally.
Yeah.
The funny thing is a lot of people thought I was Malaysian.
Oh.
Yes. And a lot of people came up to me and they're like, oh, by the way, I thought you were Malaysian. So, why? Oh, because you're funny. And I was like, oh no.
Oh, that means we are not funny. Ouch.
Ouch. But the stereotype apparently, so I asked them, so what do you think? Oh, because Malaysians tend to be a bit more relaxed, kampong style, so everyone can laugh, But they say also because I'm a bit daring. And they say, oh no, we thought most Singaporeans don't dare say things, everyone,
everybody's like quiet.
you cannot say this, cannot say that. And they say, oh, but you're a bit more daring, so we thought you're Malaysian.
Right.
Which kind of makes me more proud because that means you're saying that I am more daring.
Than the average.
Yeah, than the average.
I clearly you are.
Which I have friends come up to me, hey, you sure you can say that or not? I'm like, just say first up.
Yeah.
It's just a joke.
Yeah.
And honestly, a lot of us Singaporeans, we want to laugh also.
Yeah.
They want to wait for someone else to do it. And then
we laugh.
And then the person get in trouble, oh, he said, not
correct.
You all laugh, okay, I laugh with you.
Yeah. So what would you say, like if you had to pick our culture apart, right? Like what would you say it's a funny thing about Singaporeans? Like in terms of our habits
Oh
or
yeah, the kiasiness. Or even the fact that a lot of people are so uptight here, like because it's conservative.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you cannot say this, you cannot say that.
Later get into trouble.
Later get in trouble, yeah. So I make fun of that a lot. But also Singaporeans are secretly very competitive. We all like, a lot of people you see they're very typically like, oh, conservative. But inside they just, I want to win you.
Now, what do you think, right, as influencer for so many years, content creator, what is the next big thing in the influencer space you feel? I
think, honestly, it will grow where the influencer or the KOLs or the content creators will be almost on par with celebrities. Like now, I forgot what's the term, but A-list, right?
A-list
and
celebrities.
They say the original influencers were Z-list, right? But then the more followers you get, you come up the list. But I think eventually it will be on par and there'll be movies and more content online, or like, for example, Netflix shows or whatever, with creators involved.
Right.
Yeah, so not just actors as celebs, but your social media presence will also be crucial for your fame level. In the future. That's what I feel.
Right.
I feel that it's going that way too. Like example, let's talk about locally, right? You see the famous Abeng trios, right? The Tommy, Simon, Luke, or Maito.
movies as well.
And they went in the Jack Neo movies, right? And but who were they? They were just online famous, right? They were not like celebrity famous like MediaCorp. So there's a change, there's a shift. That's a shift. Yeah.
There's a misconception, I think, that people would feel that comedy is something that, if you are just natural at it, like Robin Williams is naturally funny, I guess maybe to a certain extent, but how much of it is actually preparation and work?
Oh, I honestly say 50-50. Like 50% is natural. Like you have to have it. Like example, not everyone can draw. I can't draw. Like I can draw. So we all can draw. But to draw like Picasso and like, whoa,
right.
you have to have something in you. Yeah. So same for comedy. I feel that there has to be that funny bone already grown in you. And it's about activating it. So like people like me, I kind of like found my funny bone and I pursued like expanding it, right? Because I've known some people in my life who think they're really funny, but they're not. And I'll tell you, how one sign how to know someone's not funny when they keep telling you they are. There's always one guy in class, they tell one joke, everyone laughs. Such a funny guy, aren't I? I'm like, bro, don't say that.
Yeah. I like the kind of like dry humor, right?
Dry humor,
like the British humor.
Yeah, British dry
so
humor.
it's quite interesting because it's like you can't tell if they are joking unless you like you know. I think that's quite funny, right?
Yeah.
What advice the younger generation, right? A lot of them are now, I think, trying to use humor and satire, to create content as well. If you're willing to, right? What advice or suggestion would you give them?
Same thing I always say to most people. Like, if you cannot take criticism, if you're not prepared to read comments and not be affected too much, if your mental health is not ready for it, then don't do it. Because it's really very tough. And I've seen a lot of my friends who, they've been doing this for years. They make one video, one bad comment and they crumble. And the comment is from an account and the profile picture is a duck. Who is this? This person doesn't even dare show you their face. And you're so affected by it. I say, if you cannot maintain yourself, right, don't do it. Honestly, it's the hard truth. Don't do it.
Right.
Because when I started, I told myself, people ask me, how do you deal with negative comments? And my answer is, I don't deal with it. There's nothing to deal with.
Just ignore, right?
Yeah. I really, and I laugh. I actually compile the negative comments and I laugh at them with friends. Yeah.
Right. Last one. How do you want people to feel after watching your content? Laugh, that's it.
Yeah.
But what do you want them to feel and take away at the end of the day?
Well, because I like to make relatable content. So I want them to be like, which I have gotten many people tell me, Ben, sometimes I watch your videos and I laugh first. Then after that, I'm like, that could happen or that has happened before. Maybe I should rethink certain things. Yeah. Basically thought-provoking.
Right.
Reflecting.
Okay, fantastic. Now, we have some questions.
Okay, nice.
From the audience.
Questions from the audience?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Why do you smile so much? Because I know what it feels like to be unhappy and sad and depressed. And I was a lot of that growing up because, teenage years where you start to be very aware of life.
Right.
And now suffering. And I started to be like, wow, I'm thinking so much about that. Like, oh my gosh, and like example, my life in Singapore is way better than some people's life in some places. And so all these thoughts, dark thoughts and everything. And now I found like, okay, there's some things I can't change, but might as well smile first.
Right.
All right, next question. Have you ever used your afro to hide anything? Yes, my friend's cigarettes.
Okay. In the hair.
Yeah. I've hid my friends' money before.
Okay.
Yeah, just to irritate them.
Okay.
Funny story, I once was about to play in a gig, right? But I didn't know where to put my guitar pick, so I put it into my hair first. And I forgot it was in my hair. So 5 minutes later, I was trying to find my guitar pick and I was so pissed off. And how I found it was because I was so upset that I just sighed, right? And it fell. And then my friends were like, this was so stupid.
But it's a very useful...
Yes, very useful to hide things. Yeah, and it only happened once in the airport where I went through security and then one of the guys was like, check his hair.
Yeah, I was
and
just
he came and he was like, sorry sir, he just...
in case you were hiding.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, don't worry. Yeah.
Oh, did you find that offensive? No,
I understand security reasons. And sometimes, I look like I would, smuggle something sometimes. And I wear Rastafari stuff also.
Oh my God.
But also, I think I'm too obvious, right? It's like, I'm so obvious. It's too obvious to smuggle. Yeah. Okay, next one. Do people ever ask to touch your afro? All the time.
Does that annoy you?
No, it's annoying when they don't ask.
Oh.
I mean, it's like, if you ask, it's fine.
Oh, but they do it without permission.
Yeah, that's the worst. They're like, oh, hey. And I'm like, yo, do you like me if I touch your face?
It's like how people touch a pregnant woman's belly without asking all the time.
Yeah. And I'm okay. I'm never annoyed about it because I know it's interesting. for people. Because you see, they're like, wow, it's like, especially in Singapore, there's not many people with like afros, right?
Right,
so it's
right.
like, I know, but I never get why people are so, you know, some people who come up to me and say, I'm so sorry, I really need to touch it. I'm like,
Why? To see if
I
it's
don't know. I
real.
just need to touch it. It's so fluffy. And I'm like,
Do you
yeah,
ever
sure,
get
yeah.
stares from children?
Oh, all the time. The same stare from an 80-year-old person is the same stare from
A child?
Yeah. Those 80-year-old uncle, auntie,
Yeah.
you know, they're chilling downstairs in the block. Then they just...
And children
And
do-
children also in the playground, walking past people in the playground, the kid will just stop whatever he's doing. Yeah.
yeah. I was just curious because
Yeah,
children
yeah.
are so observant.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So like I've had a child ask me, like in a school, like, are you a big person or a little person? You know, and I mean, I didn't get offended because it's like a
Curiosity of a child.
Yes, I
Yes.
think it's a legitimate question, right? Like, you don't quite look like my mom and dad.
Yes.
You also don't quite look like me. So
Yeah.
it's like, where do you
But
fit
very
in?
soon I'll be your height
Yeah.
in like 2 years.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I think we've got a last question.
One.
Yeah.
Let's go. Last one. What is your hair routine? Oh, nice. Okay, for many years, I was just trying out different shampoos, right, to find out which one I like the most. And now I use L'Oreal Evercurl because that has been the most consistent. But somehow, also very hard to find sometimes that everyone buys L'Oreal Evercurl. Like, how many people know I need to use this?
Right.
But yeah, I use L'Oreal Evercurl shampoo, conditioner, and then after that, when I dry my hair, I'll put on like hydration holding cream,
Right.
hydration sculpting cream, just to keep the hair hydrated, because especially in this
Climate.
humid climate,
Yeah.
right? Is to keep that for hair health. And then I don't wash my hair every day, it's every 2 nights. So on the second day, I will put more hair oils, just also for hydration reasons. So that's my
Right.
hair routine.
So how long, like, do you do that every day or?
Yeah, so like okay, if today I wash tonight, then tomorrow evening onwards I'll put the hair oils when the hair is very dry. Yeah.
Wow. So you do pay special attention
Yeah.
to your hair. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Benjamin.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank
Yes,
you.
we've come to the end. And to our house kakis, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Open House. Remember, for every question that you have, we have a guest out there with the answers. Now, if you enjoyed this episode of Open House, please feel free to share it, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and of course, in the comments, leave your suggestions to the next guest. And of course, follow us on our socials for more updates. Now, until next time, see you.